Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the attention. Thank you for following. All my followers, I appreciate your support. Before I start, I would like for you to help me helping Food for the Poor. Even if you could give them $10, $15, $100, okay, they help the poor everywhere. In the Caribbean, Latin America, Europe, everywhere. So if you have 100,000, I know I have a lot of friends that are multi-millionaire. You want to give 20,000, 30,000, okay, you could help them because this is money well spent and you're not gonna pay no taxes on it anyway. So you could claim it in your income tax, even though Trump is out. So all the guys who made all this money, okay, during the Trump administration, you could always do the same. Okay, I'm not gonna waste no time. Let me start by, I wanna congratulate President-elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Vice President, first black Vice President, first woman. We have a Caribbean American, Indian American in the White House, and we also have a Jewish American, because her husband is a Jew. Okay, so we have all these countries. You cannot have a better president this time than Joe Biden, because what you have here is all these different nationalities and even people, LA in the house, because she's also from LA, and okay. So I want to thank them and I want to congratulate them on their victory, and a victory that was really given to them by the man right now who's claiming that they stole it. Because if Trump was smart, he shouldn't have complained about people voting by mail, okay? Because voting by mail was so easy, except he wanted everybody to walk in and vote. So the people who follow him, they did exactly as he prescribed. They went in and they voted for him. When the rest of us who are smarter, we mail in our vote. And that's why, like in the beginning, since they start counting the walk-in first, Trump was ahead. And he figured, oh man, but he didn't know what destiny had waiting for him. So now he's saying, oh, they stole the election. He knows nobody stole no election. He knows better, but that's Trump. Trump he like attention. The guy who, it's like, there's a French word, mal élevé. Mal élevé. Le président américain est mal élevé. Okay, the American president is rude. He wasn't brought up right. This is a guy, he was raised by babysitters because his family was too busy doing other things. And they put a lot of money on his name when he was 7 years old. So he was worth like $7 million. And his school, everybody let him get away with everything because everybody knew that this 7-year-old was a multi-millionaire. So by the time he was in his teens, his family couldn't even control him. They had to send him to a military school in order to control the man, but he should be in a military school as we speak, because he's behaving the same way. He'll do the craziest thing just to get the attention. He knows he's not stupid. He already told you before the election that they was going to steal the election. So he's talking about no evidence. I was just on Twitter, some dude's talking about, oh, I never see anybody steal an election like that, so that they stole the election from President Trump. I'm going back to Great Britain because I cannot believe that. So I answered him, I said, listen, we have enough idiots over here in the United States. So if you could go to England, the sooner the better. Okay? Because we have enough idiots here already. Because even your prime minister, the British prime minister, would disagree with you. So you've been living here for 40 years and you've been in a tunnel. Okay, so you don't know what's going on in the outside. You're in the dark. So you just like a monkey see, monkey do. Trump said that they stole the election, the big monkey ahead, and all the other monkeys are just agreeing with him. I see there's a bunch of them on my Facebook page. I ignore them because they're talking about, oh man, they stole the election. Some give the argument that just because the press say Biden win, that doesn't mean he won the election. So they're waiting for the count. Some think he should go to court because a lot of illegal aliens voted. They give all kinds. But those are things that Trump is saying, that he's sitting in that infested White House. I mean, COVID infested White House. So what Biden should really do is ignore the guy. Let him over there, even if he have to go and live someplace else. Let him stay there. Okay, because this place, they may need to destroy it. With all the COVID infection in there right now, because there is no testing. According to Trump, the virus doesn't exist, even though his chief of staff and about 6 other people are right now tested positive. So, and his chief of staff was so close to him, that means he could get it again. Okay, so they just need to ignore him. The new president gonna have to select a cabinet, and the lesson here is that you have to raise your kid right, because you don't want your kid to grow up and be like Trump, because this was a bad example, but this was a lesson for this country. But I always know it, and everybody who follow me, you know I always said that he wasn't going to win this term. It wasn't going to happen, because he lost, this one president, he lost 3 million popular vote on the election that where he become president. 3 million popular vote. Now the second time he served 1 term, now he lost even more popular vote this time. Because this country, it's like so many people voted. The idea that the COVID is still out there killing all these people, and you have a president who's telling you it's a hoax, nobody gonna put up with that, and I always know it. I know that this country, that we are the smartest country in the world, the United States of America. There's no way we was gonna take a guy like Trump again. It was over. And the next thing with Trump is, right now, what he's doing right now, he always doing things to get more attention. Now, he tweeted so much today, and I was answering a lot of his tweets because he's so stupid. It's like, I never see somebody so stupid. The man don't understand foreign policy, diplomacy, geopolitics. He don't understand trade. Okay? Yes, we made a mistake. But you know what I love about this country? If this was Haiti, a year ago or maybe 3 years ago, the people would have walked into the palace and pulled his butt out and chased him out. But the institution here, I respect that. Even though we didn't like him, even though we know he was ignorant and stupid and racist and all the I mean, I don't even have to waste my time on how many names I could call this idiot. But we let him finish his term. And at the end, okay, we voted him out. And the system is working. Even though he did his best to tarnish the democracy that we have going here, this republic. But what he never understand was this United States is a republic, okay? It belong to the public. It's not the guy who's in charge is not the owner. The country is not your private property. This is not Mar-a-Lago. This is not one of your golf course. This belongs to the masses, to the people in general. And they're the one who participated, and they put you in, and now they're putting your ass out. And you have to realize that. Maybe you should read the meaning of democracy, republic, capitalism, because you don't understand any of that stuff. But you was here because you know how to bluff your way to the top. And that, I respect you for that. You call yourself a law and order president. Now, you have all these judges in the Supreme Court. What an embarrassment to them. Because now they're sitting there and they're looking at a guy, you are breaking the law right in front of them. Okay, in real time. Broad
Is there
daylight.
something else I can help with?
No, like no. Uh,
Okay.
so therefore, you are an embarrassment to the electoral system of the United States. Because every day when you tweet and you saying that the election was stolen, you're doing damage to the system, to democracy. And I think not only you should be impeached, but I think they should take you to court. There should be a price to pay for what you're doing, because you're doing exactly what the Russian. I even see the Iranians. The Iranian tweeted exactly what you said. They said it proved that this whole democracy business they got in the United States is BS. Okay? Because they're following what you're saying. Because you're the one who's telling the world that democracy, you are doing a real big disservice to democracy. Even though I said to myself I should find Trump irrelevant, but at the same time, I'm always finding myself talking directly to the idiot because he don't even understand what he's doing. And as he's so selfish, everything is about him. It's not about anybody else. Last night I watched the president, and I have so much respect for Biden because last night he never mentioned Trump. He never attacked Trump supporters. Okay? He told them that I'm an American president. I'm the president for everyone, not just the Democrats. I'm the president for Republican. Let me tell you something, just in case you don't know me, I'm a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. And I don't see myself becoming a Democrat anytime soon. But I support President Biden because you don't follow somebody because you're a Republican. We had a bad Republican. Trump was not a good president. He's not a good human being. Okay, people, there's a certain amount of respect. I always think the man was crazy. And I work in the G building. I've been around crazy people to know that Trump is cray-cray. He's crazy. And people who still going and thinking that even with this guy, the man, he's a guy who's the president of the United States of America. He's going around telling people he did more for black people than Abraham Lincoln. But if he knew history, he probably should have said, I did better for black people than LBJ. Because the 1964 Civil Rights Act, but he didn't know about that. Because he didn't go to school. According to his niece, he sent somebody to sit there for him. Okay? And he believed if he said it, it's going to be the truth to somebody. Some people would believe him. Okay? Just like he's saying he won this election. There's a lot of people with him saying yes. I heard this morning his son-in-law say, listen, man, you better call U-Haul and get your ass a truck. Because there's no way you're going to be coming next week and start saying you won this election. Because you've been going to court and it's an embarrassment. Because all these court are going to say, where's the evidence? And you're just going to be coming with all those hearsay and they're just going to throw all of them out. And this may be a new record for a president. Because you're probably going to be in the limelight. Oh, Trump this, that. But hey, look at Biden and Kamala. Last night, they didn't say a word about you. You are totally irrelevant. The thing is, from this point on, Trump is behind us. Now we need to look forward. As a Republican, Wilner know, as a Republican, I am not down with a lot of those bubble up or social program, a lot of that stuff. But right now, during the COVID, I am with the bubble up. Because I'm more a trickle down guy.
It's 2 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock.
But from this point on, I never could understand why this bozo did not give us the stimulus that the stock market was waiting for it, the rich people, the poor, everybody was waiting for that stimulus. He didn't give it to us. So what he's going to do? So now what he's going to do, he's going to say, because the only reason we didn't get it was because he couldn't write his name on the check. because most people was gonna receive it by mail, and then he was gonna send you a letter to say, I gave you. You didn't give me a thing. I work all my life. This is my money, okay? And you're not my boss. I put you here, and we just put your ass out, okay? So from this point on, Trump is behind us. Now we're gonna have to deal with Joe Biden. Biden is a nice guy. I hope the Republican could work with him. Okay, the Green New Deal, there's a lot of positive things to it in terms of, okay, this whole thing about coal. Trump promised, he was going to have coal all over the place. Those miners and those people in Pennsylvania, okay, did you get it? When you going to get it? Next week? It's over. Same thing with the vaccine. Did you get the vaccine? He promised a vaccine that was coming before the election. Okay, election is gone. Where's the vaccine? So this is behind us. Right now, we need to sit down and think about how we move on from this situation. Okay, my thing is, we need economic development. Yeah, how do we help them, Mr. Biden? Okay, my suggestion is, I think you should start, because I know the government spend a lot in defense contract. Alexa, what is the annual defense budget of the United States of America?
This might answer your question. In 2016, the United States spent $606,233,000,000 US on defense.
Okay, you heard the number, 600 billion in defense. My suggestion to the new government is, we're gonna do some set aside for the inner cities, from the poor, for the poor, and for the black, and for women-owned business. The notion that helping restaurant, right now people are not into restaurant anymore. Okay, what we want to do is we want to go to Harlem and build a Silicon Valley in Harlem. We want to do the same in Bed-Stuy. We want to go to different cities. Not only we going to take those kids you see playing basketball or those who are in high school, instead of putting so much emphasis into sport, which is a limited thing, okay, let's try to build incubators in those cities. Those incubators would prepare them on how to use a 3D printer, how to use CAD, computer-aided design, train them into robotic, okay? How to build electric motors, okay, with the Green New Deal, how to build solar panel, how to build so much, even a windmill. Okay, so we're gonna deal with wind energy. Okay, so I'm gonna call it America 3.0. So America 3.0 is, you go around in the cities, in the high school, you recruit young high school students who are good with computers, who good with drawing, and then we're gonna take them and we're going to develop training program. That's $600 billion in defense. We don't have no problem in the government spending that money. The problem is, some of that money, instead of giving it to General Dynamic, to Grumman, to Sperry Corporation and all the defense contractors, this time I want the Harris and Biden to talk to these companies and set aside a certain amount. If you have 600 billion, let's just take at least a couple of billions, or maybe one to start with. Because this is the annual budget, and you're gonna be here for 5 years. Okay? So we're gonna take this money, and we're gonna go in the inner cities, and we're gonna try the main objective, and this is something you could do with people like Bezos of Amazon. You could even put Bill Gates, Elon Musk of Tesla, and these big guys. I wish the president could listen to me, because I'm putting a white paper together on something like that. So what we're gonna do is, on that defense money, instead of just giving it to all those big defense contractors, we're gonna force them to build, to help entrepreneur that are in those inner cities here in Jersey, in Boston, in different places, in the minority neighborhoods or minority areas, to encourage them and to help them build a Silicon Valley. Whereas, okay, we bring in technologies. If I was to do it right now, I would start right now with electric transport, with batteries, with electric motors. Okay? Robotics. 3D printing, 3D printers. Okay? And we want to train people design drafting. You want to teach them basic electronic and electronic manufacturing. So these contracts, they already designed. There's a government contract that the government already, they build this, the government buy maybe 10,000 remote like this. So 10,000 remote like this, I could take 5 or 6 people and the government send me the drawing and the information on how to build it. So I take 5 or 6 guys and we start a new company and we build a prototype. We send it to the government and they check it, and now we get some of that set aside money to put together a small company. And our company is gonna be manufacturing these remote and sell them to the government. Okay? The government buy uniform for the military. Okay, instead of buying them from somebody who's gonna get them from China or whatever, okay, so a woman who already know how to sew and who's a good manager to 3 or 4 women, black women and Chinese or Asian or whatever, or even Indian in the reservation. Because Wilner No is not talking just for minority black. I'm talking for minority in general. Okay? So it could be in a reservation. So those guys, you're gonna help them put together a little company that build a uniform for the people in the military. Okay? That doesn't mean that they're gonna sell you all of them, but if you're buying 10 million uniform, maybe they'll get a contract of, let's say, 500,000 of them, or maybe 500 or 600 a month. And the same thing could be for parachute. A lot of the technology and a lot of the things that they use in the military and stuff like that, a lot of them, you could actually have other people build them. And this is how you're gonna create, you're gonna uplift people in the inner cities. That means these people, the government step in and say, okay, listen, we buy this particular technology, okay? They give you the drawing, they give you the plan, okay? You put together a team who's gonna concentrate on building this. But the government guarantee you a certain amount of order. Whereas if you had to take a money and go start a company and try to build this and sell it, between marketing and all of these different other things that you would have to do, there's no way you could compete with the Chinese. Because they wouldn't be beating you. But if the government get to buy it from you, so basically you already have a customer. So all you have to do is build it. And the money the money is already there. So basically this is, okay, we do talk about spending money in infrastructure. Those things, they good. But what I'm talking about here, this is you're gonna take a guy who's 17 years old and he's gonna sit there and he's gonna learn how to design, computer aided design, okay? Or who know how to use a 3D printer. So he's gonna draw this. After he finishes, he's gonna build a prototype. Then the company gonna have the plastic injection molding and they're gonna build this. Then you get the circuitry inside. You're gonna have people also from the same area building it. So this factory could come up with this one product. And this is not to sell to Amazon or eBay or whatever. but this is an order you get from the government. I hope people would understand it because I'm not trying to make it difficult. And this is how you work with economic development. That means if the government is buying bicycle, yeah, there's company who make bicycle. Maybe I could make a bicycle with fiberglass or composite, which is lighter, which is cheaper, and sell it directly to the government. And the government, that means the police could use it, the rangers, the marine. Okay, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about set aside. So the company who's building these things already have a customer, which is the government. But guess what? Who finances the government? The taxpayers. That means those same people, they're going to pay taxes to the government. And the money is staying in America. It's not going to some guy. Okay, I don't have no problem with the Chinese. I love them. Okay? And I do buy a lot from them. I don't have no discrimination. Okay? They are looking out for their interests. And I respect that. And America should look out for its own interests. Okay, all the yelling and screaming this idiot was doing with China, some of it is good in terms of intellectual property. I was totally against the Chinese when it comes to American intellectual property. But that wasn't what Trump was crying about, because he never really did anything about that. Okay, so he was yelling about a bunch of other things. So I have my little problem with the Chinese, but it's not as big as his. But I think even in a program like this, if you're building a factory or these equipment, we could actually buy some of the expertise or some of the equipment. If I'm building a factory where I'm going to do robotics, perhaps some of that equipment, if they don't make them here, I could be able to buy the equipment to manufacture what I'm going to be able to sell to the government. That doesn't mean I have to, okay, so if I'm going to buy a robotic arm or if I'm going to do, if they already have it and I'm starting and I got an order, yes, I'm going to buy it from whoever got it. Whoever's already selling it. And this is what, if people are listening, this is, because I see, one of the rappers was talking about he want them to give him 40 billion, 60 billion. He want all this money to do what? But he didn't know, Ice Cube. But at the same time, he wasn't able to articulate, if he did get the money, what he was going to do with it. But right now, what I'm telling you, that's exactly what you could do if what the government could help. Minorities, women, those who are not working. Okay? So you're gonna go to, let's say, LA, San Francisco, where you have a lot of homeless people, where you have a lot of those people, they could work. They could be, you could train them. So that means, okay, the Silicon Valley, okay, you have people with engineering degrees who right now working at McDonald's. Okay, because they don't have the connection. Okay, because IBM is not gonna hire them. You have kids who are engineers, but they're not getting a job from many of those big companies on Wall Street because they don't have the connection. But what I'm talking about now, with government set aside, that means the government now gonna make sure not only he's purchasing things that he needs. As you know, you see your police department, for instance. There's a thing with the camera. Okay, I would build a company that make a camera for the police. And this camera, it's like, it's part of a tie. So if you have to wear a tie, then you're gonna have to have the camera in it. And you cannot turn it off and turn it on. This is something we could do. So I would have, let's say, a factory right in the middle of Harlem who make these ties and who sell them to the government. This is a big government. When we're talking, this budget, 600 billion was the defense budget. But if you start looking at local government, That means if you're looking at, let's say, New York State, NYPD, New York City, you make a tie that has a camera in it that the police have no control over it. It's on all the time. And there's a network to monitor it. This is you solving a problem. So next time somebody got their knees on somebody's neck, they're not going to be able to turn it off. Because the same one who's doing it, they're going to be doing the filming themselves. Or all the ones that are there, the camera is there. Okay, so we're going to get a contract to do that. Or maybe we could come up with a camera that they put in their glasses. As an example. Okay, so the governor set aside, okay, you presented, they give you an order. We're going to buy 500,000. And it's going to be from one of those women-owned, minority-owned companies that are located in New York State. New Jersey could do the same thing. Okay? And this is not just defense. You could be dealing with your local government, which is your city, and you could be dealing with the federal government. So you don't have to worry about marketing. They're going to just, instead of buying it, so if somebody else has a manufacturer, okay, let's say there's a big company already who has that capability. So these companies, the government should have an office that actually could help these big companies put entrepreneur in those states on track. That means it's going to be the same guy from Microsoft or the same guy from Tesla. Okay? He's going to come there and he's going to help a bunch of brothers, okay, who in the neighborhood, in the hood, put together a small manufacturing operation who probably could create 1,600 jobs, let's say. But the orders are already there because it's already selling to the government. It's not that you have to advertise it on television and spend money because you already have the customer. The customer is really the guy that you giving your tax money to. So it's really your own money. Who's buying it? Okay? I don't want to overwhelm people with a bunch of information. But if you're looking, I'm looking at America 3.0. Okay, and how do you bring okay, Trump was talking a lot about bringing jobs back to this country, but still, Apple Computers still using Foxconn in China to build their computers. Tesla already built a mega, I think it's bigger than mega, because it's a giga factory in China. And he's about to open one in Texas, one in Germany. Okay? So these companies, it's going to be, okay, I'm not looking for them and ask them to come to my neighborhood and build your car here. But what I could ask them is, how can you help me? I have my technology. I want to build a drone that could carry merchandise and people, let's say from Kennedy Airport to Manhattan. But I want it to be electric. So it has a range of 50 miles. Okay, Mr. Tesla, can you guarantee me you would give me your battery at a cheap price and you could assist me? That means you could give me a couple of your engineers and those guys to help me put together this company that I'm trying to put together. Okay? And that's all. Because I'm still going to be using your battery. I'm still going to be buying from you. And all I need you to do, you have the expertise. I need that. So I could train, let's say, young kids that are graduating high school, maybe college graduate, and people in their 30s, young people. And we're putting together here Silicon Valley. So people would have, the government could actually assist and work out something with these companies like General Motors, for instance. They just come out with a new electric cars. Okay, maybe I'm going to use their electric technology on a helicopter that I'm building. Okay, which is not gonna interfere with, because they're selling cars. Okay, I'm building a helicopter, an electric one. What you gonna miss? I'm not, we're in two different roads, so we're not competing. But I could use that technology in my helicopter. Okay, good. So how do we get these people to help those entrepreneurs to put together a company like that? They don't have to finance. They don't have to put any money. Maybe by the time the company start making good money, so they could probably buy share and become investors and everything else. But okay, the whole thing has to do with the government. That means I want the government to guarantee me, okay, well, if you did this, we going to give you a loan. The Small Business Administration going to give you $10 million because we went over your plan, it's feasible. And plus you creating employment. And then you building this here in the United States. So I'm going to give you the 10 million. All you have to do is show me a team of people that have the expertise to help you do what you try to do. And that's when I'm going to have, let's say, that's people like from Tesla, from this different company, or even the government could actually see if they could really ask those people to help me with those technology. Because a lot of the thing, when we're talking about helping, that means if I was to design a helicopter, I could draw it. Okay, but a company like Tesla, they have experts that could actually do the whole prototype of it for me. So whatever the cost would be, we would pay it to them, or maybe they would do it for free because we guarantee to use their technology on this particular product, in which we plan to not only sell to the government, or maybe I'm going to use my own helicopter because I'm going to use it to transport people I'm going to be the competitor of Uber. So instead of you taking an Uber, okay, that means if you go into a meeting, let's say from Kennedy Airport to Manhattan, it would take you by Uber maybe half an hour. Okay, my copter, which is cheaper than the regular helicopter who's burning gas because mine is electric, so it's cheaper, it's greener, and less polluted, and then it could take you quicker. You understand? So this is how we talk to the Biden administration. Minority set aside, women on, okay? Silicon Valley is already there. They made a lot of money. So they did a lot of IPOs. Okay, now this time, America 3.0, how do we build a Silicon Valley in Harlem for the black folks, in the Asian, okay? Instead of the guy driving that little motorcycle, delivering food from the Chinese restaurant, now he's working, sitting behind a desk, drawing, because he was trained now to use AutoCAD or Fusion 360. This is where I'm at. And this is how the black community should approach the new government that is coming in. That means ideas like that, how you put a white paper together where the brothers, they're gonna do, okay, hey, maybe we know, let's say we're waiting right now for a vaccine. Okay, there are some company who are making the vaccine already. We know who they are. Okay, they're gonna need logistic. How do they bring the vaccine to different communities? Maybe we need a electric helicopter, like what I'm saying here, that probably could do it quicker and cheaper than if they use tractor trailers or different ones. And those are the way we're gonna have to think. And by thinking like this, if we could solve these problems, then we could create employment for a whole lot of people. Because I know people who went to school, they are accountant, engineers, but they don't have the connection to work for Grumman or General Dynamic. So from now on, You don't have to go to Grumman or General Dynamic. We're gonna have our own Grumman subcontractor in the hood. So some of that money that the government, the $600 billion, could trickle down to us. That is not hard. And this is how we're going to build America 3.0. Okay? Because everything else you could do, somebody already control the market. Okay? There's no way I'm going to make a Roku or one of those remote for Amazon stick. Amazon already control that market. And the kind of money that I would need to make a product like that right now and sell it, for the marketing and everything else, packaging, I don't have it. Because I would have to be looking for customers to buy it. But what if the customer is Uncle Sam? You see where I'm driving at? That means you already have the customer. So you don't have to spend no money in marketing. You don't have to do no TV commercial. You don't have to do that. Okay? That means my sister, Jacqueline, okay, put together a factory, and all she's doing is sewing parachute. And he hired about 20 or 30 people in the area where she live at over there in Rochdale Village. And those people, they go to this factory and they work every day and they build parachute for the army. Because that money is coming out of the defense budget of the United States of America, which is $600 billion. And that's enough money to create so much job. Okay? And the big guy is still gonna take their share, because that money is really going in the pocket of a few defense contractors. Okay, all we're saying is Kamala and Joe, this time let's try to build a highway and try to bring this money in the pocket of those poor and those people who put you in the White House. Those people who voted by mail. How do we help them? That's how I make the connection. Okay? This is the kind of thinking that idiots who just left the White House should have been doing. But he wasn't doing that. Because even his supporters, they're not rich, even though they're white. That doesn't mean because they're white, they're rich. But what did he do for them? Nothing. And they still, and what I'm talking about here, that means I don't care. If you poor and disenfranchised, Appalachia or Detroit or wherever it is, okay, the same thing could apply to people who live in the trailer park. I know a lot of them are white, poor white trash or whatever, okay? And you could apply the same thing even in those areas. That means where do you, oh shucks. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So this is not just for poor people, poor American. Because I'm not thinking, because you see Will Nino is black. This black Republican, I don't see it as just for a black. Because I see this rapper, Ice Cube. He said, my initiative is just for American, son of slave. Not for foreigners, not for this. This guy was talking just like Trump. It was so ridiculous. I had to turn the television off. No, that's not who we are. Okay? And you keep doing your rapping because you totally disconnected from the real America. Okay? Because that was so dumb what you were saying. Oh, this is only for people who are son of slave, American who was born here. So a Jamaican is not included. Son of people who came from other places, Nigeria, they could forget it. That's stupid. Just keep rapping, okay? Ridiculous. We're not gonna discriminate nothing, okay? America 3.0 means that you want to help everybody. Everybody, there's a big pie here for everyone. Okay, they went about it the wrong way. That means when you was trickling down to the top 1%, they made a lot of investment outside of the country because they were looking for their pocket or with the tax break. Okay, good. This is along the line of bubble up, what I'm talking about. Even though I'm a Republican, remember? Because this is the government could actually route the money toward the inner cities. You could reduce crime, you could do different things. Because the only reason there's so much crime in Philadelphia, in Chicago, in Detroit, is because those people are not working. Okay? So if you go to those areas and you take la creme de la creme of those places, the entrepreneur, and then you put together economic development, that means you could have an industrial zone where you help people with small business that could either manufacture or do whatever they could do, and the government would be their customer. That means the same taxpayer money gonna be recirculating within the country, and then they're gonna be those people. What's gonna happen is every time you hire somebody, that person become a taxpayer. So what's going to happen is more people going to put more money in the pocket of the government. And then you could still spend, because you're still building your defense, you're still doing all the things that you always do, but except instead of somebody just sitting there and going someplace and give somebody a bad $20 bill and end up dead, they have a job, okay? They have something they could do, because everybody is good and doing something, okay? And this is what I'm talking about. Not some idiot rapper who's going to tell you, we need 40 billion, we need 60 billion. But how are you going to do it? We're going to build business for the black people who are son of slave, who were born here. And I'm looking at this guy, Ice Cube. Listen, man, you're good with your movies, you're good with your rapping. I know your intention, you probably thinking about a good idea. You probably think, but the notion that you're going to discriminate is wrong. Just for black who were son of slaves and stuff like that, that's ridiculous. This is not the country we are. Okay? A lot of those people you see who follow Trump, they went, and I don't have no problem with them because I understand where they were coming from. Because they were poor and they were disenfranchised. And the notion that a businessman is a person that is successful, they wanted Trump. And if you didn't know Trump, and you see all these casinos and you Google Trump, okay, you would see him as a successful businessman. So a lot of those people who were supporters of Trump, they did it because they figured that Trump could put some of that success would rub off on them. Except Trump was a con man. He was everything that is not what he said he is. He wasn't what he said he is. And for that reason, I forgive these people. What I'm talking about now, this is how you do it. That means, Mr. Biden, I could even sit with you. I did a whole white paper on this. And especially, well, I know you're going to be, especially with the green energy, the Green New Deal. Okay, that means, and I like the idea that you're moving away from fossil fuel, from coal, okay, from all those polluting products. Okay, I respect that. Okay, good. Now, the government. I'm talking about municipal government. I'm talking about state government. I'm talking about federal level. That means the government buy a bunch of police cars. Okay, you want to put a petition in there? I'm going to build a little company that build those petitions that you see in the police cars. I expect my city to give me a contract instead of sending of buying this from someplace from Florida. I'm here in New Jersey. You want to create job here? Okay, so I'm gonna do it. So instead of buying it from a supplier over there, okay, make me your priority. And I could say the same thing with the guy who's building the tank for the military, or the guy who's building the aircraft. Okay, I know you subcontract a lot of that thing to a bunch of foreign companies or outside. Okay, listen, Joe, when you give those contracts to these people, you need to demand from them a certain amount of set aside for minority and women, or just poor people. Because minority don't even have to be breaking down on the color or nationality. It probably have to do with a certain amount of income. Because you could do it perhaps for people who make less than $40,000 a year, or people who are on welfare. Okay, so I'll do each area geographically, because you guys, you have that data on your database, because that's how you got the people to vote you in. Because you know where to find them during the election. Okay, so we're gonna use those same tactic this time to help those people who put you in the White House. I'm not pressuring nobody. Okay, I'm only trying to influence. I'm an influencer. And I have a whole lot of different idea for an America 3.0. That means how do we uplift those poor people so they don't have to pick an idiot like Trump? Because like I said before, many of those Trump supporters, they really picked him because they thought he was a successful businessman and he was going to be good for their life. So we're going to take an inventory how much money each municipal government spend on a whole lot of product. And now how do we get people in those same area where they at? How do they could help them to actually make them so the government could use their tax money to buy it from them, so they don't have to sell it on eBay or Amazon. That means if I make a camera, any product that I could make, I'm guaranteed that my government is going to buy it from me. So all I need is put together my team, get a place, and start working. Because they're going to tell me, okay, I ordered so much of this. Okay? This is how we do it. You order bicycle, you order hat, you order uniform, you order bracelet, you order belt. There's so much that they buy. Now all we demand is how do you bring it in the community and use it to create jobs. So we don't have to mess with the consumer products, but instead we could sell to the government, and that same money, instead of spending it on welfare to help people, pay them for not doing anything, you could create jobs within the community, and those people could work and they become taxpayers. So that means you could collect more income tax. So it's more money in your own pocket anyway. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad I was able to stay focused on this America 3.0 vision that I have. And perhaps some of you who are watching this, I would like your input. I would like to hear what you have to say. Maybe you have an even better idea. Okay? Because I'm talking about NASA. NASA spend a lot of money. They buy a lot of stuff too. And I could give you so many part of our government and so much they spend. Okay? So now instead of buying, we need to take an inventory of what they're buying. And we could build those same thing here. I don't care if it's laser printer. I don't care if it's computers. I don't care if it's chairs, like the chair I'm sitting on. I don't care if it's desks. Okay? Now we're going to have a program where you're going to be buying it from the poor American. And that's all we need. Okay? It's not demanding, because you're going to spend the money anyway. And this is our money. This is not some money. This is not somebody asking you for money that you're not getting back. Because as soon as those people become taxpayers, they're going to be around for years, and they're going to be paying taxes, and their kids going to go to school, and they're going to become taxpayers. And this is a win-win situation. Thank you very much for that attention. Please support Food for the Poor, because they're doing a good job in Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad, Venezuela, everywhere in the world. Okay? So you just got my influence for nothing. If you could help Food for the Poor, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. America 3.0. Word up.